What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and baby, let's get into the drama of it all because we have a lot to talk about. So let's get into it. So, the first thing I want to talk about is Kandi from Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, she was on an Amazon Live and she pretty much expressed her disappointment in the fact that Kenya was not in the cast photo. And I just wanted to share what she had to say because I thought it was pretty interesting. So I got this clip from the Bravo Shade Room, and they titled their video with this statement. Kandi Burruss expresses her disappointment in Kenya Moore not being a part of the RHOA cast photo. Kenya filmed half of the season, but they had people in the trailer twerking for 2 seconds. So let me play that clip for you.
Day. Okay. I'm glad you said it because I was going to say it myself. Now, I would like to say, out of all the things, I was pissed about that. I personally felt like Kenya started the season out, right? At least we all know that. I mean, I don't know how much of it, because we're not privy to how they're going to edit or whatever. But I'm like, y'all couldn't even let her picture be a part of the show. The other friends of the show had pictures. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Cynthia had one.
Cynthia had a picture, and Cynthia's my girl. I love her. So this is no shade to Cynthia. She needs a picture too. But what I'm saying is, even if,
For the website.
it's like, why wouldn't y'all put Kenya in the picture? Like, y'all tripping. Like, I don't know what to say about this. Like, I am too through. Now, yes, I am a little biased. I love Kenya. But that bothered me because then you threw somebody else at the end of the clip, honey, for a twerk session for 2 seconds. But you couldn't put Kenya, who filmed half of that season, right?
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me?
She still signed a contract.
Like, are you kidding me? The disrespect. Like, come on. Like, yeah, when people mess up, like, do we say when people do something that is, I guess, offensive to some people, I don't know, or if you upset about something that she did, like, does that throw away all the magic that she's giving y'all all this time? Yeah, like, you still used her. She still was in the trailer. Like, you could have still took her picture. Like, she was in the trailer. Was she not?
She was for 1 second.
So was somebody else for 1 second. It don't matter. She was in there. Give her picture.
So I actually agree with Kandi. I definitely think they could have given Kenya a friend of picture like they did Cynthia, because the person she's referencing that we all know she is referencing is Phaedra. We only saw Phaedra in the trailer one time, and that was her twerking on Cynthia. But we saw Kenya 3 times when she was talking to Drew, when she was twirling in her beauty salon, and when Cynthia was chastising her about her behavior at her grand opening. So it's like if she can be referenced in the trailer 3 times, we know she's going to be a part of the show. Why not just give her a picture? It's another way to like disrespect Kenya and chastise her for her behavior. And people may say, well, that's a fair punishment. I'm one of those people that does not agree because the show and the network contradicts themselves. If we're going to chastise Kenya for alleged revenge PORN, then why are we not chastising Phaedra? We've never seen Phaedra apologize for what she did to Kandi. We've seen Phaedra be a part of multiple spinoffs of Housewives and Bravo shows that it pretty much dilutes, like, we take these types of allegations and this behavior seriously. So I just feel like it's just disrespectful and they could have just given Kenya a picture. All right, y'all. So let's move over to Real Housewives of Potomac. So it looks like Michael and Ashely are officially divorced. TMZ posted this yesterday, and whoever did the write up for this is Shady Boots. Okay. because the last statement at the end tickled me. But let's get into it. It says Real Housewives of Potomac, Ashely Darby finalizes divorce. Ashely Darby is closing the book on her marriage to Michael because their divorce is now official, TMZ has learned. The Real Housewives of Potomac star divorce became a done deal Monday, according to online court records. Ashely filed for divorce in November, a little more than 2 years after they separated, and as we first reported, they had a prenup. Michael previously told us their agreed settlement included sharing custody of their two sons, Dean and Dylan, and he said the settlement was amicable and fair. Ashely announced her split from Michael back in April of 2022, explaining she and her business husband of nearly 8 years had decided to separate since they were in very different stages of their lives. The pending divorce was a hot button topic on RHOP several seasons until Ashely finally followed through and filed the paperwork. Now she's going to need some new storylines, and it will be interesting to see how she navigates being a single mom. They didn't have to add the part about she need new storylines, but I agree. So I guess round of applause to Ashely. It took her 48 years to get this divorce, but she finally got it because, my goodness. The fact that they said that she filed for separation in April of 2022 and it's February 2025, but it feels like she's been trying to get a divorce from this man for an eternity is wild to me. On top of that, what is she going to have to talk about? Because I do not care anymore. I don't care this season about her divorce. I didn't care in season 8. I sure didn't care during season 7, for real, for real. It feels like she has milked this storyline. There's nothing else left. Like, nobody cares about you and Michael in this divorce anymore. And I'm glad she has finalized it so we can move on. But like the TMZ article says, she's going to have to come up with a new storyline. And I definitely think it's going to be her having issues with Wendy, because she was doing an interview with Gibson Johnson and she pretty much called Wendy two-faced for having critiques about her being with Josh. Okay, so let me play that clip for you guys.
That on Watch What Happens Live last week.
It was a little surprising to me that Wendy said those comments in the first place that she said in her confessional, because that's not the energy that Wendy was saying to me to my face. For someone who I consider to be my friend, I would really think if you really thought like, oh, this guy really isn't of the caliber or whatever, then maybe you'd say that. But to say that for the confessional chair, it really showed me that Wendy is two-faced. And so I didn't appreciate that at all. Like, if you really felt that, you'd stand 10 toes on that and be like, girl, if you want to say this is a lateral move or whatever she said, then, just be a woman and say it to me. So I was just really, it pissed me off. I actually didn't even watch her Watch What Happens Live episode. I didn't really care to see it. Of course, I heard that she talked about me, called Josh a rented boyfriend. There are some other conversations that Wendy and I have had where she brings up things that her husband has been involved in to try to like justify her talking about Josh. They're apples and oranges, things that she really has no justification to say. And also the fact that she doesn't even know Josh. She doesn't know his story, who he is, what he represents. And he's new to this platform. He doesn't know any of this. And you just go in on him like that's low-hanging fruit. And that's really stupid of you.
So here's my thing. I feel like Ashely is doing too much. Like, granted, I can understand her being a little irritated or perturbed by some of the things that Wendy said, because they were shady towards Josh, but not in a way that I feel like the way she's behaving is okay. Like, I'm like, yeah, girl, you can be upset, but you got a full-blown like attitude. And it's never that deep. Like, girl, you and Josh have probably only known each other for real for like a solid like maybe 8 months. And I'm pushing it with a year because I think they end up filming that Love Hotel show while she's still with this man, because that's the whole reason why Giselle and Nasim, they kind of broke up, because she went to go film the show. Or not even broke up, but stopped talking because she went to go film the show. So I'm like, girl, you need to calm down. You need to chill out. The other thing is, I feel like Ashely is trying to set up for her storyline for next season, with it being her and Wendy kind of being at odds by the comments that she made about Josh, or feeling like Wendy is two-faced. Because if you think about it, her divorce was finalized on Monday, the 11th. Yeah, that is Monday the 11th. But this interview that she did with Gibson was posted by Jay's reality blog, I think, on the 4th of February. And I feel like Ashely understands that, like, look, you can no longer milk this divorce storyline anymore. The people don't care. For 3 seasons, that's all you have been talking about is being afraid of being on your own, trying to figure out if you want to be with Michael or not, trying to get, a fair divorce settlement from this man and everything. And it's like, we don't care. Like, even when I look at other people that review this show, they don't really talk about Ashely. They briefly touch upon, some of the comments that she makes, and then they bounce up off of her. The most time I hear people talk about Ashely is the way that she behaves in group scenes. But like, no one really cares about Ashely's solo scenes for real, like that. Even when I review it, I give you all the details, but like, do I really care to talk about it? Not really. And then when I see Ashely do interviews, they don't really ask Ashely a lot about herself anymore. It's kind of like, girl, you took too long with this divorce, where it's like anytime someone asks you about it, you kept saying the same thing that I don't think people care to a certain extent. Because now when I see people interview Ashely, it's normally about, well, how do you feel about Karen? How do you feel about Mia and her lying? How do you feel about, Giselle not having a Robin? Do you want Robin and Candace to come back? How do you feel about Stacey and Kiarna, like, and Jazzy? It's never really about Ashely and what she got going on. And I think she knows that. So I feel like, as calculated as Ashely is, she's preparing for what's next. Because, girl, what is next for her? What else is she going to talk about? Because this whole entire season was her breaking up with, finalizing her divorce with Michael, and then dating Josh, and then this drag king show. None of that was really that eventful, if we're being all the way honest. But I just feel like she doing too much over a guy she just met like 8 months ago. All right, y'all. So let's move over to Married to Medicine. And because when I tell you, Sweet Tea, aka Letitia, and Heavenly have been talking up a storm all up and through the internet, all up and through these internet streets. They both been just talking, just the talking. So first, let's talk about Dr. Heavenly. So Dr. Heavenly ended up giving more context to the fight that went down between Quad and Gregory when they were doing the whole vibe check game. So this was posted by the Bravo Shade Room, and it says this: Dr. Heavenly reveals Dr. Gregory used derogatory words when talking to Sweet Tea, but they were edited out, saying STFU, you talking to effing much. So let me play that clip for you guys.
Dr. G got real mad. In fact, he stood up and he started screaming at Sweet Tea, talking about, stop talking. They only showed a part of it. Now, when he got up and started, he said, you talk too fucking much, you shut the fuck up. I thought he was talking to Sweet Tea, because everybody, King was sitting right here. They couldn't see. We thought he was still talking to Sweet Tea. Cecil got up and got in between them because he was like on Sweet Tea, and it was so cringing. I was like, God damn, what the hell? And to me, honestly, Sweet Tea didn't even really say that much. It was Quad. Quad was talking cash shit. She was talking about, and things I can't say, but she was talking about things that happened in their marriage and the things that he did to her. When they asked me, well, who was he talking to? I said he was talking to Sweet Tea. This bitch ass Toya said, oh no, he wasn't talking to Sweet Tea. He was talking to Quad when he said, shut the fuck up. You talk too fucking much. The King is a calm guy. He looked like this. We was wondering why he talking to Sweet Tea. And Cecil got in front of them like, from what I can remember, he tried to break it up. Sweet Tea, if you got all this mouth for everybody else, why do you let this man talk to you like he your daddy and you just take it? To me, it's not, it's making me feel like, I don't know, I don't like it. And I don't dislike Sweet Tea. I think she's a sweet girl, I really do. I just think that just like Contessa, these bitches got all this mouth for everything else, but then let ninjas do them wrong and they ain't got nothing for that.
So here's my thing on this clip, because we got a few clips to go over. I actually believe Dr. Heavenly when she talks about the way that things are edited, mainly because I've noticed that this season, like the fight that happened between Contessa and Heavenly, you can definitely tell was longer, because in one scene you would see Simone sitting down, but then in the next scene you would see her standing up and she was very far away from the table. Then in another scene you would see her laughing and she was sitting down, and then they would flashback to a clip of her in the midst of them arguing. And I was like, yeah, they're not editing these very well. Like, normally these scenes are supposed to flow seamlessly, but I can tell where you're stopping and adding scenes in. And maybe that's because I edit my own videos, but I was like, I see a pattern. And even with the fight that happened at the hotel when they're playing the vibe check game, it was weird because in one breath, Quad was standing up saying the narcissist is coming out. But then in another breath, you click and she's sitting down. But then in another breath, if you look at the other people sitting around in the circle, they all have different facial expressions. They go from like concern to laughing to it was chaotic. And I was just like, I can tell that there was more going on with this situation. And I don't understand why they're doing that this season. Like, show us everything. Show us the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, show us watching Dr. G cuss out his wife, or watching Quad and Sweet Tea get into it in Florida. Like, show us everything, because you could definitely tell that situation was more than what it was, because he was yelling and it was like, girl, she not even doing that much for you to be yelling like that. Like, was Quad being obnoxious? Was she doing too much to a certain extent? Yeah, but not enough for him to be like spazzing out like that. And I told y'all in my review, I didn't like the way that he was giving that energy towards Sweet Tea, because I was just like, bro, calm down. But I do agree with Heavenly. Sweet Tea and Contessa be having all this energy for the ladies. Sweet Tea be on her YouTube channel talking big. But then when her husband disrespects her, it's crickets, you quiet. That's weird to me. If you can't keep the same energy with somebody that you lay down with, then don't keep that same energy with your friends or your coworkers. So moving on, I want to play these two clips back to back because it has something to do with Heavenly and how she feels about Phaedra. So somebody on Dr. Heavenly's live pretty much asked her why she had such a hard on for Phaedra, and Heavenly got frustrated and was like, girl, I don't have any issues with Phaedra, but y'all want it to be an issue just because I'm calling her out. So this was posted by the Bravo Shade Room, and it's captioned this. It says, Dr. Heavenly says her new Phaedra knew Sheck before the speed dating. The relationship is fake, and Sheck is just here to promote his businesses, and Apollo's wife cussed Phaedra out. So I'm going to play that clip first, and then the next clip is going to be Heavenly pretty much saying that she's ready for Phaedra and whatever she got for her at the reunion.
Don't give a fuck what they do, okay? All I'm saying is we didn't know she was bringing no damn body. Lord Toxic. We didn't know she was bringing nobody. No, nobody give a fuck. Last year she came by herself. Ain't nobody pressed. Why would I be pressed, Lord Toxic? You wasted your $5. Can move that on. But my whole thing is, why would I be pressed? I don't give a damn who Phaedra brings. But since you said it, I'm going to go and put it out there. Phaedra already knew, damn it, chick. She knew him before the fucking speed dating, and she knew he was Apollo's friend. Now, she was trying to get a lick back just like Quad was trying to get a lick back. The problem was, this was the problem. The problem was, Apollo found out. So then he brings his wife. And his wife cursed the fuck Phaedra out, okay? I'm just lay it out. Because I don't even give a damn no more. Because you pissed me off, Toxic, whatever your name is. But I was glad that she brought a date, because last time she sat around by herself and you could tell she was kind of uncomfortable that she was on a couple's trip by herself. So I'm glad the man want to get his name out there in the world, and that it's a fake ass relationship, but he's trying to promote his businesses per what they say he said. And I'm glad that maybe he can get some recognition on the show, because that's why he's here, no other reason. I really don't think she's interested in this dude. However, and let's go past the episode, because I don't know. She sure kissed his ass. She tongued that brother Tucker, because I was like, oh, Apollo ain't here yet, but Apollo ain't here yet. I'm going backwards. Listen, let me come back, because she kissed him in front of Apollo. Tongue. And I was sitting there like, I'm a dentist. Come to this reunion, bitch, you better call Cadillac Kim, bitch, and get a read for you, because I'm coming for your ass. Do not lie on me, Phaedra. I do not like that shit. I would not have done it. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it to you or anybody else. Me and Phaedra was not in a bad place. We were not. I was cool with Phaedra until this, but you're not gonna put all that on me. That was her scheme. Now, I can't say who right or wrong. She was probably doing the same shit Quad was doing. Let me get my lick back.
So here's the thing. I believe Heavenly. And you want to know why I believe Heavenly? Is because I told y'all in my review for that episode of Married to Medicine where they had Sweet Tea speed dating event. And I said it's kind of weird that Sheck is the only guy there in his 30s, or I think he is 30, to wanting to date a cougar. He's the only male, and Phaedra's the only female there in her 50s trying to find somebody young. Okay. And then because everybody else was either a man between his late 40s, early 50s, or a woman in her late 20s, early 30s. Like, it was just random. Like, production did not do a good job feeding that in. They should have had other people around the same age as Shaq, men and women around the same age as Phaedra, looking to make, like, mix it up, but they didn't do that. So it was very clear that that guy was specifically there for Phaedra. Okay, like, production set this up. And then we see them go on a date on the next episode where he lets it be known that he knows Apollo. So I thought that was kind of random, but Phaedra was like, everybody knows Apollo in Atlanta. So I'm just like, okay, cool. So it's giving that, like, yeah, girl, this was a scheme set up by Todd to bring us back to Bull. Shout out to Bertha. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, girl, what Heavenly is saying pretty much tracks. And I also understand why Heavenly is upset with Phaedra trying to, I guess, help push this narrative, or possibly put that narrative out there, allegedly, that Phaedra didn't know anything about Apollo coming and bringing his wife, and that's why she left the show. But we clearly see Heavenly on one of the episodes telling Phaedra, hey, are you okay with Apollo coming? Like, they FaceTime before getting on the trip, and she said she was cool with it. On top of that, we also see Heavenly ask Apollo, is your wife coming? And he denies it, saying, no, why would she be a part of this? So it does make it seem like, oh, Apollo found out about Phaedra having Shaq. So he was like, why am I about to come to this event by myself? Let me bring my wife. So I just feel like everybody wants Heavenly to be the bad guy. In some instances, she is, but in this moment, she's not, to me, only because it's not like she didn't tell these people what was up. She told Phaedra what was happening. Phaedra okayed it. She asked Apollo if his wife was coming. He said no, but brought the lady anyway. So I get why Heavenly in the second clip was like, she got all the smoke for Phaedra if she's trying to say I'm a liar when there's proof that I'm not. Because there is proof that she didn't lie, girl. You said it was okay for that man to come on camera, just like we see Heavenly asking that man, is his wife coming? And he says no. So you really can't be mad at her, for real, for real. You can be mad that she being messy, but to be mad specifically and paint this narrative that she brought that man there to cause issues with Phaedra, that's a lie. So the last clip we're going to talk about with Dr. Heavenly before we move over to Sweet Tea's clips is she was doing this like interview or on this panel with Sherelle's World, this guy named Freddie, and this other man named Perry Sanders. Now, I know who Sherelle's World is because when I used to be in my 90 Day Fiance bag, I used to see her content and watch a few of her videos all the time. But I don't know who the other men are. But basically, she was asked about what happened between Dr. Gregory and King, and Heavenly basically says that Dr. Gregory was fine with the group before he pressed charges against King, and King was looking at 90 days in jail because of the fight. So let me play that clip for you guys.
Grafted to get back in there.
I don't know about that because he's a doctor. I mean, King's not a doctor. Greg was solid in the group. I feel like, you know what I mean, until he pressed those charges. Yeah, they came to that part yet, right? He filed charges.
Charges?
Ooh. Yeah, King was getting 90 days in jail. They haven't played that yet. Oh my God, I'm talking too damn much.
It's next week.
No, I spend it. I give you a teaser to watch the next week, but yes, he pressed charges. I mean, he filed a police report.
Yeah, but with Dr. G, I don't think it's nothing to do with the men, Freddie. I think.
So I'm actually looking forward to seeing the aftermath of this fight between King and Gregory. I'm actually looking forward to seeing like what popped it off. But now that Heavenly has brought it to our attention that the group was cool with him until the charges was pressed, makes me feel like Gregory might be in the wrong. Now, I don't know because I haven't seen the episodes, but I do think it's kind of telling that everybody was cool with you until you press charges, which makes me feel two ways. Because on one hand, I'm feeling like maybe Gregory is the one that started the physical altercation. So that is why everyone's like, why would you press charges? Or King is the one that caused the physical altercation, but it wasn't that big of a fight. It was just a bunch of them like shoving each other. And everyone's just like, it wasn't that deep for you to do all of that. So why were you pressing charges? Either way, I'm looking forward to it, because if you go and look at the mid-season trailer, it does kind of give you the energy that the group is kind of annoyed with Gregory, because the way that it seems like the fight starts off, you got Scott basically telling Gregory and King, y'all need to let go of what happened the other night before and move forward. King has on a shirt and he's like kind of like, we not doing that. But then you also see this scene where Gregory is walking up on King in a manner of like he got an attitude and he really want to get some things off his chest, because everyone's kind of like, whoa, bro, like, whoa. But then we see a scene of where it looks like it's Gregory, King, and Sheck, where it looks like King is walking away from Gregory and possibly Gregory said something, because then he turns around and like charges for Gregory, and Sheck is like pushing Gregory back. So I don't know. I don't know. It feels like maybe King might have started the verbal disagreement, and Gregory started the physical fight. But then again, you don't know, with it being chopped and screwed and it's a trailer, so you don't see everything. But it very much is interesting, because for everyone to be frustrated or kind of taken aback by the fact that Gregory pressed charges says a lot to me, because we then see this scene of Contessa telling the group that somebody filed a restraining order. Then you see Eugene be like, well, I heard you called the police, and Gregory is like, yeah, why wouldn't I? And then we have a scene where it's Scott and Steve and Mimi's husband sitting on steps being like, you need to pick a side, because at this point you have to, even though you don't want to, you need to pick a side. So I'm wondering whose side we picking. Like, what's going on? This is getting me excited. So the last person we're going to talk about is Sweet Tea. Okay, y'all. Like I said, Heavenly and Sweet Tea have been on these internet streets talking, and it's funny to me because they don't like each other, but to me their behavior is very similar. Like Sweet Tea's running her mouth on her YouTube channel like Heavenly, and she's also doing interviews with bloggers like Heavenly. And I saw some people try to say like Quad talks too much, but the difference to me when it comes to Quad is that Quad is actually on large media sites. She's on like This Nation, on Watch What Happens Live, The Share Show. I think she did Tamron Hall. She's on large media platforms talking because they booked like interviews with her. These two are just on the internet talking to, you know, the people, which is fine. And I'm not like discrediting that, but I just think it's funny that these two women do not like each other, but they have the same mannerisms and behavior on the internet. So Sweet Tea recently did an interview with this magazine called Sheen Magazine. Now, I don't have the audio clips. It was like 10 or 15 minutes long, and I was just not interested. I saw a few of them, but the statement that really tickled me is this one, where she says she's acting out because she sees a star. So basically, what the Bravo Shade Room, they summarize what she was talking about. It says, Sweet Tea discusses the challenges of working with and coping with Dr. Heavenly, the fertility shaming, holding her accountable, and forgiveness. She's acting out because she sees a star. When she said that, I cackled because I said, girl, what? What are you talking about? Now, I'm not saying she shouldn't have confidence in herself or be her own biggest cheerleader, because I do believe that confidence is something where you should be validated inward, not outwardly. But let's be honest, what has Sweet Tea done on this show that is memorable? Like, let's be real. Like, when you think about everybody on this cast, there's moments that you can be like, oh yeah, I laughed at this, or oh yeah, that was crazy when they did this. There's nothing that Sweet Tea has done in the span of these 2 seasons that has been memorable, other than her saying, I can have access to the money, or her like going off on the internet being like, but leave my husband out of it. And mind you, the only reason why I still remember but leave my husband out of it is because of Erica De Niro TV, and she'll feed that clip into some of her content, and I like her content. I enjoy watching her videos, but if she would have never done that, I would have forgotten about that. So her saying that Heavenly is attacking her because she's a star is crazy, because in my mind, Heavenly is attacking Sweet Tea because she doesn't respect her. We've seen Heavenly skull drag Toya, but she'll still admit from time to time that Toya is an important part to this show of how it moves forward. So I'm just kind of like, girl, nobody sees that. You can see that, but nobody sees that. So moving on, Sweet Tea was on her YouTube channel and she was asked by, I don't know the lady's name. I've seen a lot of people refer to her as Jamie, but since I can't confirm that, I'll just say her, I guess her producer. I guess I'll call it like that, her producer, saying, how do you feel about her and Quad potentially ever becoming cool? So let me play that clip for you guys.
Personally don't mind you and Quad being cool. I feel like differences aside, y'all would steal the show. How do you feel about that?
She said she wouldn't mind us being cool. I mean, we can be cool. Like, I mean, again, y'all have to understand that there was really no issues in the beginning between me and Quad. Quad started making the issue. So it really was no issue in the very beginning. Again, she had the butterflies in her stomach. She came to the comment section saying congratulations and all of that. And all of a sudden it was just, you just turned and like, now you mad at me for being on the show, but you're not mad at the people that championed for me to be on the show. And also, like, you know, you don't own anything. You know, if Phaedra's Pop say they want me on the show, they want me on the show. I mean, you could just start your own show and then, you know, you could do that, but we can't dictate what goes on because that's not for us to do. I mean, that's Phaedra's Pop. We can't do that. Like, you're not the boss.
I'm going to be honest and say this. Sweet Tea's attitude is just as off-putting to me as Heavenly's attitude can be on her YouTube channel. It's something about her feeling this need to like puff out her chest and act like she been here since season 1 that I don't like. Granted, do I understand what she means about why is Quad mad at me? She should be mad at her friends, which I still think she is, but I think she's allowed to be mad at Sweet Tea as well. Girl, why are you on this show? Why? Other than to pick at this lady, and you were happy to be on this show because you were like, you know, he found his match, he found his person. You wanted to gloat, you wanted to throw it in this lady's face that you were with her ex-husband. And I also feel like this demeanor of acting like Quad is jealous of you and she's following the leader because she wants to have a baby now, is also weird. It's weird because, ma'am, you're 10 years or 11 years younger than her. You're doing the reverse. You're marrying her husband stuck in her old house. Like, if we saying somebody's following the leader, it's definitely you. Definitely you. I also want Sweet Tea to stop being so delusional because in what world do you exist without Quad? If Quad was not a part of this show, neither you and Gregory would be a part of this show. No one was knocking or beating down your door asking you to be a part of Married to Medicine, neither you or Gregory. So to have this energy like you that girl is delusional. So the next clip I'm going to play is Sweet Tea's feelings about Jackie taking Heavenly to the White House.
Dr. Heavenly going to the White House to talk about mother's mortality rate.
Okay.
What were your thoughts on that?
I think that is a conversation that needs to be had with the mother's mortality rate, but also I think that they may have chose. I don't quite understand why. I'm trying to be nice. I don't have nothing nice to say. My mama say, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. But why? My thing is, why would you take someone that really does not support reproductive health and will make a joke out of it to the White House? Like, that don't even make sense. I don't understand. I find it very weird. Like, why would you choose, like, Jackie, why would you choose Heavenly to go? I don't understand that. It's a little weird. Like, why would you do that? Like, that's just, especially when you said that she said in the episode that she was for reproductive health. Mm-hmm. Like, I can get the videos out and show, like, that this person ain't for reproductive health, and I think that's a bunch of BS. I just think, like, why would you take someone that really doesn't represent that? And, you know, my question is to the White House, like, why, you know, they not doing, you know, y'all not vetting these people that's coming in the White House. Y'all letting anybody in there at this point.
How do you feel about those 3 women going to the White House talking about the reproductive health and mother's mortality rate when you're dealing with what you're dealing with trying to have a baby?
But, you know, I haven't heard from nobody. Nobody's really checked on me and said, hey, you know, how's the fertility journey going? None of that. You know, I think that it'll only be relevant unless I'm, like, on the show. And I think that if I were to get pregnant on the show, then all of a sudden I think things would change and people would gravitate themselves to me just for that reason. And I understand for what it is, and it's fine.
So clearly she feels some type of way. I mean, I can understand her feelings, especially with the back and forth that she had with Heavenly. Now, did Heavenly say some very disrespectful things? Yes, she did. She was coming slick out her mouth. But I also feel like Heavenly has never really made a mockery about fertility or reproductive rights. She's only made a mockery out of what Sweet Tea is going through. And I honestly feel like Sweet Tea trying to generalize it so people will be on her side is not working, because when I go in this video and I look in the comments, everyone's like, Heavenly has never done that. She was making a mockery of you. I also don't understand who Sweet Tea thought was going to the White House. It definitely wasn't going to be her with you in the confessional calling this lady Skeletor, making fun of her body, and then also making fun of her age by, saying like, I like to help the elderly. So you weren't going. Toya wasn't going. Quad wasn't going. And Contessa wasn't going. And we just met Dr. Mimi. So why would she not invite, her closest two friends, which is Simone and Heavenly, and the other OBGYN on the show, which is Simone? So you weren't going. I think it's interesting that she noted that none of the ladies have reached out to her about her fertility journey, which is also telling about her placement in this group, that they really don't see it for her. But I'm also like, you don't give off this energy that you like anybody in this group. It definitely gives that you don't like them. Like, you always are saying how this group is toxic and they're not this and they're not that. But it's like, if the show is so toxic, then leave. But you don't want to leave because you like the perks of this show. So stop talking about the toxicity if you're not going to change it. I honestly believe that Gregory and Sweet Tea were banking on the fact that Quad was not going to return after season 10. And I know that they signed on to the show thinking that Quad was no longer going to play a big role on the show. But after the way that people freaked out about her not being a part of last season, they definitely knew she was coming back this season and signed on for it. So I feel like they're not happy that Quad is no longer being politically correct and being cordial with them. She's pretty much saying how she feels and going about it the way that she wants to, and they can't handle it. And that's just what it is. I also feel like Sweet Tea doing this YouTube channel kind of backfired on her, because I think a lot of people liked her well before they started to hear her speak and have these opinions about the show. Because honestly, what's happening to Sweet Tea is what happened to Heavenly. People were annoyed by Heavenly's antics on the show, and people really didn't like her. But the moment she got that YouTube channel, it amped up even more. And I think that's what's happening to Sweet Tea. Because I've seen people make comments being like, why does everybody so hard on Sweet Tea? Why do people not like her? And I'm like, I've seen people say, girl, it's them clips of her being delusional, talking about that Quad's jealous of her, and she's reaching. And also, people don't like the fact that she has not taken accountability of how she played in the mud with Heavenly. Now, did Heavenly take things too far? Yeah, but to act like Sweet Tea was this innocent victim is crazy to me. Like, is her hands dirty? Yes. Are they dirtier than Heavenly's? Probably not, but they're dirty. And to try to absolve yourself from that is very off-putting, especially for me. Now, I know I have a lot of people that follow my channel that like her, and that's cool if y'all like her, but she's annoying to me and she's delusional. And it's the delusions that make her annoying. To say that Quad is following the leader when you're married to her ex-husband living in her old house on her TV show, that's annoying and it's delusional. But that's all I got for you guys. So as always, remember to be bravely authentic and definitely hop down in the comments below and share your thoughts with me and subscribe and like the video. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.